And we're live. Hello, and welcome
Hello.
to Queers Guild. Um, I'm Avery. I'm joined with Moonlight and our very, very special guest, Hatchling DM, Rich. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Good evening to everyone.
Yes, good evening to you. Good afternoon for us. It's time zones all abound. It's oh boy.
What time are you there?
We are about 4 o'clock here.
Okay.
Yeah, so late afternoon. So
Nice.
early for us for streaming, but I actually kind of like early streaming. It might be a new
I
norm
do
for
like
us.
this too. Yeah. We'll see.
There's
Who knows?
some nice natural light filtering in still. It's
Yeah,
so nice.
I like that. Yeah, there's still some here. It's 9 o'clock in the evening, so
Yeah, wow.
bright
So
evenings.
yeah, so we're here to play some Inspirisles.
Yeah.
Which is why don't you give us like a little summary, like a quick elevator pitch of Inspirisles before we start.
Well, the elevator pitch, which I've always used, is it's the first tabletop role-playing game to promote sign language and deaf awareness. So as you play the game, you learn sign language, both ASL and BSL, and hopefully every other sign language in the world eventually down the line. So but yeah, that's the elevator pitch, and it's quite unique. It's got unique mechanics, and it's all completely integrated within the system. So like I say on interviews, it's not like we've plonked sign language system in the middle of a role-playing game. It's completely integrated with it without within the system.
That's amazing. This every time I think about this game and think about playing it, I'm super excited about playing it, and we're super lucky to have two people who have worked on this game. Moon, you have worked on this game as well as a.
I have, yes.
What was your
Yeah.
role in working with this game?
So I am fluent in American Sign Language. It is my preferred language. And so I was hired on as the ASL consultant. So I worked on deciding what was going to be included in the information about the deaf community and what would be like good ideas for starting signs versus later signs that are a little bit more advanced, worked on talking about the grammar of the language, etc.
Yeah.
And that's so awesome. And Rich, you designed the game pretty much, right? Do you have help?
Yeah, I mean, it was initially off my own back, because I worked for a deaf charity for 12 years now, actually going on 13. And I woke up one morning and thought, what if I combined my passionate day job and that community with my hobby, which is role playing? And it turned out to be an amazing epiphany. And, so we launched a Kickstarter based on my sort of like mediocre art, but obviously the concept behind it was very appealing to a lot of people and a wide demographic. And we wanted a grand to make it. Well, for me to make it alone, and it raised £31,000.
Wow.
Which has paid for a team of 12 to 13 people that have worked, tirelessly on it, and it shows really. And because it's our first game, we invested all that money into making this product, into making this the initial game, and I'm super stoked about it. I'm so pleased with how it's come out, and it's very professional.
It looks amazing, and I'm so excited. And it comes out next week, right?
Yeah, 17th. all
17th.
being well.
Oh, though we know about things not going right, but it'll go well.
It'll go well.
It will go well.
I've been positive throughout, so
speaking it to the universe, it will go well. Yeah, I'm excited. I've right after this, I'm pre-ordering it, so that's all that.
Oh,
so
that's
make
wonderful.
sure,
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure to support everybody. And
lovely.
if you check our Twitter, we have the link to where you can find this game and play it along. So yeah, I know I'm ready to play. To get ready to play. Take us away.
Okay. So you have to imagine, before the game even starts, that you are the descendant of Arthur and Guinevere Pendragon from Arthurian mythology. You're a distant descendant, and you're both teenagers of 15 years old. And you have been led to a portal on Earth from anywhere this can be. So you can be from any culture, any area in the world. And you're led there by a thing called a well-wisher, which is essentially like a mammal. And it could be like a fox, but this is up to the Grail guys. So I'm going to have you being led there by a badger. And Moonlight, your character would have been led there by a ferret.
Awesome.
And so when you get the full game, you can kind of come up with these well-wishers, and there's a table to roll for them to, if you can't think of your own one. But you're essentially led to any sort of like portal. So it could be in a hedgerow, it could be like in a tree house, it could be in the side of a factory, it could be even through a shop door. And you enter through and you come out on a different side of the world, but which is like an alternative United Kingdom or British Isles. So it's British Isles, an island, and it's called the Inspirisles. And I'm going to introduce you to who you meet on the other side of this portal. And I may butcher this because, like I said, my partner usually does the voiceover work, but I'll give it a go. Cecily, where's the kindling? And can you do the stacking? You know, I'm terrible at building campfires. It's probably all Aethelyn's fault. What do you mean I'm just not practical? I'll have you know, I know, you're probably right. But, oh, hello there. So you're the fresh meat. Don't worry, I'm only joking. Cecily will tell you I'm always kidding around. Excuse me, Cecily, my jokes are fantastic. At last, the new crop of Pendragons. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Scriv the Bard, and this is my assistant, Cecily. I say assistant, but she's really more of a partner by now. How many years has it been, Cecily? A lot, yes. That's what I was going to say, but perhaps without the sarcastic eye roll. So welcome to the islands. You must be hungry and thirsty. It's quite the strain travelling through the Allswell. Oh, that's where we are, at the Allswell, the portal you came through, and the only way back to your world. Come, please, and warm yourselves by the fire. Well, it will be a fire if Cecily can hurry it up. Cecily, the wood! Once it's ablaze, we'll have some tea, and I can answer the many questions you undoubtedly have. But for now, we'll start with a brief introduction. As I said, I'm Scriv, and you are here to fulfill a pact made by your ancestors with the rulers of this kingdom long ago. I'll be your able guide. It's not funny, Cecily, just ignore her. And with my assistance, I'm sure you'll be back home for good in no time at all. In fact, I myself was in your position not that long ago, but I chose to stay, and now the islands are my home, and what a beautiful home it is. So that's like the first thing you read in the book. It gives you a little bit of a context of what's happening. So basically, a long time ago, when Arthur and Guinevere were around, you sort of shook hands. Well, the sort of Fae of the island shook hands with Guinevere, and she said that lots of her descendants would return to the islands to earn a thing called belief. Now, belief is have you ever seen the Never-Ending Story or read the Never-Ending Story? Well, you should see it.
We'll
Yeah.
have to
I
change
should.
that.
Yeah, we'll change that.
Make a note. But basically, in that book, in that story, there's a thing called the nothing, which is basically it's just essentially like blank spaces in the world. The things just vanish, and it's not like they just simply don't exist anymore. And this is happening across the whole kingdom. And so we've got a similar concept where we've got two opposing energies called belief and disbelief. And as a Pendragon, you have to earn belief and fight disbelief. And once you've earned enough belief, you can then heal the world tree, which is slowly rotting from disbelief. So you go to Avalon, which is the center of the British Isles on the Fae Kingdom, and you feed belief to the roots. And that's how you level as characters as well. So you level together as characters by essentially healing the world tree. You following so far?
Yep.
Cool. There's more to it than that, but you'll learn as you go through. So I think, without learning about all the friends of the islands and the gods, because it's all in this history section when you get the book, I think we'll go straight into character creation, to be honest. I think that's the next step. So I'll read the next Scriv bit. And so what you need for this for this character creation. It's completely narrative driven. So there's no statistics, there's no numbers involved. It's all completely story driven. You'll need your Pendragon sheet. Cool.
Oh, you even printed yours out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a form fillable one on the Itch.io site.
Yeah.
You can use that to fill in like practically. And I don't know if you've got access to the memory list, but don't worry about it if you haven't got that. So in the actual PDF of the sort of preview pack, there's like a memory list at the end. But I can read them out for you if you need me to. It's absolutely fine. So that's all we need for the character creation, but we'll go through it now. It's Scriv now. Well, now, where to begin? What do you think, Cecily? Ah, yes. If your brain feels a little like scrambled egg, that's perfectly normal. I remember when I travelled here for the first time. I was a wreck for hours, wasn't I, Cecily? Oh, right. You weren't here, were you? Why do I keep thinking you were here? Never mind. Now, you may be needing a little reassurance. I quite understand, but you don't need to worry. As different as the islands are, you are in no immediate danger. What's that, Cecily? Yes, I'm getting to that part. Don't rush me. I did mention a pact, which you're probably wondering about. We're all special. We have ancestors who made a deal a long time ago with the rulers of these islands. That handshake beneath the world tree sealed our fate. Yes, I too grew up on Earth, and when I was 15, I was also led here. You'll have to prove yourselves over a series of quests in order to earn the favour of the rulers and your ticket home. Naturally, I succeeded in mine, but decided to stay as many others have before me. I'm not bragging, Cecily. I'm just being factual. You like facts, don't you? Anyway, once I decided to stay, I went adventuring and simply never stopped. Aethelin is my patron, and they decided I was to take on the job of introducing new Pendragons to the islands. How could I say no? Yes, Cecily, I know I could have said no, but I was missing the point. It was rhetorical. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Cecily's going to start giving me a painted look in a minute, so I'll shift right along. No rest for the wicked and all. You know Cecily and I. Now we want to know all about you. What are your names? So if you refer to your Pendragon sheet, I need to fill out your name and the pronouns. I know you both know all about pronouns, but you know, we say in the book, like, you know, it's how you should refer to your companions. Some options, they, them. You can even roll on a 2d6 gender neutral table if you like to do that.
I did not know about that. That is incredible.
Yeah. We've got tables
That
for a lot
makes
of
me
things.
very happy.
So yeah, so all the names are completely gender neutral. Do you want to do that? I think we should roll on the tables for the playtest.
Yeah.
All the things.
roll.
It makes it a bit more fun. So if you want to go first, Avery.
Sure. I rolled a 2 and a 4, so 2.
You're going to be called Erin.
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 That will be she, her.
Okay, cool.
I rolled a 6 and a 2.
You're going to be called Trinity.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm. What are your pronouns going to be?
They, them.
Cool. Lovely. Trinity and Erin. Okay, cool. Excellent. It's wonderful to put names to all the faces. I'm terrible with this sort of thing and will probably forget them all instantly. Thankfully, Cecily is invaluable at remembering all the little details. While we're on the subject, I need you to sort through all those memories that are sure to be flooding in and pinpoint the very earliest one. You'll know it when you see it. It's always been there lurking in the back of your brain, but it took coming here to bring it out of hiding. So find your earliest memory and describe it to me. So this is where the memory list comes in. Now, I think for the sake of this, I'll read it to you because it'd be quite nice to do this anyway. Because I kind of want this the Grail Guide, which is our GM, to do this during sessions anyway. So let me quickly get a copy of it up. Memory list. Preview pack. Yeah. So I'll just open this up quickly and then go to the memory list. There we go. Right. So how this works is this will determine your friend and home on the sheet. Okay, and so each of these memories that your Pendragon would have are attached to one of the friends of the islands, and these will be your kind of patrons throughout the game. They'll assist you. You'll get bonuses if you're in a place where your friend or community lives. All these types of like mechanics going on. So I'm gonna have you both shut your eyes actually, and I'm gonna read each memory to you, and then you have to instinctively go with one which appeals to you the most. Your first memory is of rock being hammered. As you adjust to the din, you notice gleaming gemstones, battered iron carts, sharp picks, and mole-like creatures surrounding your amethyst crib. Your first memory is of billowing jets of steam. As you adjust to the heat, you notice serene pools, drying towels, cascading fireworks, and lizard-like creatures surrounding your scale crib. Your first memory is of bustling market stalls. As you adjust to the crowds, you notice colourful mushrooms, dancing lights, circus tents, and crow-like creatures surrounding your obsidian crib. Your first memory is of blinding sunlight. As you adjust to the glare, you notice clouds passing, windmills spinning, scrolls fluttering, and dove-like creatures surrounding your feathered crib. Your first memory is of instruments playing. As you adjust to the rhythm, you notice a spitting hearth, glasses clinking, roaring laughter, and goat-like creatures surrounding your barrel crib. Your first memory is of whirring cogs. As you adjust to the chaos, you notice metal contraptions, glowing furnaces, leather aprons, and leaf-like creatures surrounding your toolbox crib. Your first memory is of bitter wind. As you adjust to the cold, you notice ice sculptures, falling snow, not symbols, and bear-like creatures surrounding your stone crib. And finally, your first memory is of salt on your tongue. As you adjust to the taste, you notice ships rocking, waves crashing, dolphins surfacing, and turtle-like creatures surrounding your clamshell crib.
I think I might go with the feathered one.
Yep, okay.
I'm going to go with the clamshell crib.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Erin, your friends are the glow. So if you want to add that to your sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And their home is Roost. Another thing we've done is kept all the naming system quite simple because eventually you want everyone to be able to sign these things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a deliberate choice to keep them quite sharp and short. And Trinity, your friend are the Bucca or Bucca, so Bucca, and they live in a place called Trident. Okay, and as you play through the game, these characters or these friends and the communities will come into it more and more. In fact, the first questing day, which is essentially your introductory adventure, it focuses on the glow and the community of Roost. So Erin would have special kind of benefits with that initial quest, really, in some ways.
Yay.
Yeah.
Pick the right one. Yay.
Excellent. Lovely. You're doing really well. I'm not being patronizing, Cecily. That's just how I sound sometimes. The next little thing I'm going to ask you to do is with our Inspired here on the islands. Every Pendragon must have a patron, and you are no different. Back on Earth, do you love fireworks so much it's made your parents' hair turn grey? Are you happiest in the garden surrounded by things that grow? Maybe you're a keen swimmer or surfer. Or perhaps your first thought is taking the kite out on a windy day. Have a little think and let me know which element appeals to you the most, fire, earth, water, or air. Now, as I've said, there's only two of you, so you get to pick a primary element, and underneath the primary element, I want you to write a secondary element. And I don't want any squabbling. Because when you play the game extended in an extended session, say like a campaign virtually, you can actually change your element as you play through it. So you can actually change your starting element if you'd like to, because they're tied to items, and I'll explain about that in a little while. So
I'm trying not to let my knowledge of certain things impact this decision.
yeah,
but it's really
do that.
hard.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I love Worm for very personal reasons.
It would be good. It would be good if you had a aggressive shape, which is either fire and air, and a defensive shape each. That would be good. That would be fun.
So do you want
Okay.
fire or air, babe?
So either fire and air and an earth and water each.
I'll take air.
Okay.
Because I wanted
Do you-
fire. That worked out well.
So if you picked fire first, then Trinity, you get to pick the defensive element first.
Water.
Okay.
So I get earth.
Yeah. So Erin, you're air and earth. And you are fire and water. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Right, let's move on. Now, as well as putting your element down on your sheet, you need to put your patron. Now, each of the elements are represented by a thing called inspired, which is like essentially a deity, but they're very, very different on the Inspirisles. Essentially, they're not like these kind of like, what's the word? All powerful beings. They are powerful, but they're essentially, they live amongst the communities, and they've actually got trades. So Kilner owns a forge in the capital city, and is a blacksmith and a glass blower. And Grain owns a vineyard in Avalon, which is where the World Tree is. Aethelin owns a bathhouse where they heal all sorts of the friends, or even pendragons if you get really badly injured. The best place to go is to their bathhouse. And then we've got Vorm, who is a pirate hunter who's got a sky ship.
Ooh.
And he resides in Trident.
And his first mate is in a wheelchair.
That's right. Yes. That's
Which
right,
is
yeah. Which is
amazing.
Asher. Yeah, Asher's cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that particularly touched you, didn't it? I mean, like,
Yes. I am going to go with Kilna.
Kilney, cool. Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of a hot-headed, creative type. Bit of an egotist.
So the air elemental patron.
So you can pick air or earth. So Vorm is air. He's the
Vorm.
sky pirate hunter.
Sure, I'll take him.
Vorm, yeah, Vorm. Vorm, yeah. Don't ask me how I came up with these names. Kilner's obvious because it's like a kiln, but the rest are just plucked out of a hat. Now, I'll go back to the sheets. Cool. I can put the memory list away now. And I can increase the camera. Welcome back. Right. Good. It's a relief to have that out of the way and not nagging at you like some old loose tooth. You're all both too young to know what it feels like. But I had one not that long ago and it was awful. You remember, Cecily? Of course you do. You're the one that yanked it out. You're wonderfully practical. Yes, that is a compliment. Don't act like I never give you any. We're nearly finished now, but I'd love it for you to tell me about your interests. I find it's much the best way of getting to know somebody. As you can probably already tell, my hobbies are traveling and journaling. I do enjoy singing, but I'll freely admit my voice may be described as unusual. Cecily, you can stop smirking now. I haven't forgotten you saying that. So how about you? What hobby brings you joy? So again, we've got a rolling table for this. Unless you've got something you really, really want to explore in the game. If we were playing in like an actual play, like long-term one, then it probably would be worth you thinking more about the characters and individual. But I think we can probably roll for everything, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll.
Cool. Well, Trinity, do you want to go first this time?
Sure. I rolled a 1 and a 5.
You are a beatboxer.
amazing. I am definitely not, but
No, but Trinity definitely is.
yes.
Could be their
Oh my
stage name.
gosh.
Could be their stage name, couldn't it?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Erin, let's have a roll then.
I rolled a
You
3
don't,
and a
you don't know what to
4.
expect now, do you?
Yeah.
You are a flower arranger.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Or 3 and a 4. So it'd be gardener. I have the sheet up. Me too.
Oh, 3 and a 4, gardening. Yeah,
Yes, gardening.
gardening. Yeah. Obviously, that's quite an umbrella term, so take it as you wish. You like if something specific to do with horticulture would be absolutely fine as well. Great, nice one. Interesting. I feel we're well on the way to becoming fast friends. Lastly, I need Cecily to bring that sack over. Cecily, the sack. Oh, you already have it. Wonderfully practical, as I've said. All of you reach in and take the scroll matching your element. Now, it's probably a good idea to get going. Have you all finished your drinks? Wonderful. Cecily will head off and prepare the cabin for our arrival, and we'll take the more scenic route. I'll just grab my pan flute. I've been meaning to practice a new tune, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Everyone ready? Right, best foot forward and eyes to the horizon. Then we just say, if you've changed your mind about anything, say you want to go off the rolling table and you've come up with an idea, then it's now the time to change it, or you want to do a different element. So as I've said, progression through the game, it can be taken in a few ways. As the key sort of like focus of the game is to earn belief, and you do that through two types of tests. There's either belief barriers, which are kind of like narrative tests. So, like I say, like say like a giant ball has escaped from its pen. You have to kind of round it up using the elements and get it back into its kind of like its area of safety to stop it from like, trampling everything in Avalon. That would be an example of that. There's also a disbelief battle, which is a contested test between yourselves and the Grail Guide, who's me tonight or this afternoon. So there's two types of tests. So there's either a test you do as a group, so you both use your elements to kind of to work out a puzzle or work through a puzzle, and the other one is a disbelief battle where you go against me as an opponent. And once you've earned belief, you can either upgrade your items, which we'll go into in a minute, and they earn you more belief. They potentially earn you more belief the more they're upgraded, and other benefits. Or you can spend a big sum of it on the world tree routes, as I described at the beginning. And once you've given enough to the world tree, you basically earn your ticket home, and you go back through the portal. Or you can stay on the islands till you're like 75. And have all these experiences, and once you reach your 75th birthday, you might think, oh, time I went back to see my sister, and you walk through the portal and you're back to 15 again.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
Like Narnia.
Yeah, like Narnia.
Love it.
Yeah. So but you retain all the experiences and all the sort of like knowledge and skills, so you could be like a jouster, like an expert jouster, or like
That's so cool.
right. So that's the basic the gameplay loop of the game. Now the next part of character creation is on your Pendragon sheet, is that you see some spaces for items, and this is the next big part. I'll let Scriv introduce it. Well, my young friends, this is your home for the foreseeable future. It's been base camp to many Pendragons before you and will continue long after you've departed. Yes, Cecily, I'm aware I tend to wax poetic on occasion. It rather comes with a job description, you know. Well, here we are. This is the main living space. It's open plan, as you can see. This is where you'll be socializing, relaxing, and more importantly, practicing your shaping skills under the expert guidance of none other than, oh, for goodness sake, I told her. Sita, where on earth are you? Sita! Oh, there you are. This is my fine adventuress, is Sita. She's our resident worm tutor. There's no finer anywhere on the islands, and nobody can tell me any differently. Just to pause it there. So in our world, all shaping and sign language and the use of the elements is taught by dragons. They're called worms on the Inspirisles, but they're exclusively the only ones who can teach it. So Sita's your sort of like resident worm shooter in the questing cabin, which is your hub area. And here's back to Cecily. Be a dear and get the door, will you? Back to, I'd like you to meet our latest crop of pendragons. Back to is an infuser, and when you're ready to suspend belief, I guarantee you'll need look no further. Actually, that reminds me. Back to, do you have my quill order prepared? Yes, the one with the preposterously large feathers. I do like to make a statement. You're quite correct. I can always rely on your brutal honesty from you and Cecily, can't I? Oh dear, I've got sidetracked again. Where was I? Yes, the tour. Let's carry on now. You've met everyone. This cabin is built on 2 floors. This is obviously the ground floor, and as well as the main space, there's a rather quaint kitchen equipped with the basics you'll need to refuel after an action-packed day. We'll go upstairs now. Just ignore the alarming creaking. Cecily assures me it's all in hand. I've mentioned how practical she is, haven't I? Upstairs is the real surprise. Let's all gather on the landing a moment. Just here, that's right. Now take a slow walk down the corridor and find your sanctuary. You'll know it immediately. So this is the other unique mechanic, which I don't think Moonlight would know about. But so if you imagine when you stepped through the portal initially, what you brought with you was a projection of like a perfect space for you. And it doesn't have to be a bedroom at all. It can be absolutely any space at all, or any room at all, or any sort of area. And this would be a place that you felt very comfortable in, that you know, like you could find solace there. You can relax. It could hold a really positive memory for you. So I now want you both to think of like what this sanctuary would look like, where it would be, and sort of think about the 5 senses when you're sort of coming up with this. People in the past have come up with all sorts of things. Someone had like literally like a very sort of like minimalist space, but with graffiti all over the walls, because they were graffiti artists. It can be linked to your hobby as well. So it can be like, you know, someone had like a roof garden, like a Japanese roof garden with like bonsai everywhere. Another person had a sauna in like a swimming pool, because they used to be into really into swimming. Obviously, this doesn't have to be related to as a person in real life, but just think of it from Erin and Trinity's point of view, and take your time over this because it's quite important.
I'm getting like I had a character idea in mind, and it just doesn't seem to fit with beatboxing as a hobby.
But beatboxing, you know, beatboxing could be it can be very
That's
random
true.
hobby. It can be a very
That's
random
true.
hobby. I mean, everyone's got random stuff they're into.
That's true.
It can completely unrelated.
Okay, I have an idea for my sanctuary.
Brilliant.
Why don't you go first? I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a tree house, very specifically without any sort of roof, so that you can see the stars at night.
Oh, that's nice.
And inside is very colorful and very full of a lot of varying textures. And there's like a old school stereo in one corner and a pile of bean bags in another corner. And yeah, sort of a very
that sounds so comfy,
colorful and a lot of varying textures, like pillows and bean bags and stuff.
So that's basically what you see when you walk into this room on this corridor. It's almost like again another little mini portal to like this really familiar space, and you feel immediately relaxed and like very, very like comfortable.
Thinking for my room, it's going to be just a fenced-in yard with one corner dedicated to all sorts of flowers and crops and there are planters, and in the dirt itself there's just growth of all manner of crops, of like tomatoes, cucumbers, anything you can think of.
Nice.
There's a couple of trees on the other end There's two particularly that are sitting here, and hung up between them is a hammock. There's several birds' nests in these trees, and just the twitter and patter of birds, tweeting of birds. There we go. It's just all over the place. Just fills the area. Just fills the area.
Nice. It's like abundant with life then.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds gorgeous. Thank you for that. It's lovely, both of you. Now, the way the items fit into that is that you have to pick 5 items that relate to either to your space or your hobby. Now, these items can either be worn or carried, but they need to be small enough to have on you at all times throughout your questing days. So, again, we've got rolling tables for both of these. If you want to go with that, but if you want to have some items that you think are directly related to either your sanctuary or your hobby, then by all means fill them out initially, and maybe you can roll on a couple more if you're stuck for ideas or you just want to give it a
go.
I know one of Trinity's worn items is headphones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whether around the neck or actually on the
makes
ears.
total sense.
Yeah, one of Erin's is probably gonna be like a sun hat that she wears when she's gardening.
Yes, I love that.
And maybe a pair of gardener's gloves as well.
Nice. Yeah, just write them in the boxes then, and then to the right of the boxes you'll see an element sort of like a diamond, but you don't have to worry about that yet. That's, like I said, as you go through the game you can upgrade your items, but to the far right of the sheet there is just tick the bottom box. It's the lowest level of item at the moment. All right,
I think I want to roll for the rest of mine.
Yeah,
I want to roll for some.
do that. Let's do that. Okay, so one at a time, back and forth. So you can either pick between worn or carried.
I'm gonna do carried for this one. 2 3s, so it's gonna be harmonica.
Nice.
That's awesome. I am going to do carried, and I rolled a 5 and a 1.
A pencil.
Is a pencil.
Obviously, some of these items might appear mundane, but they all have some significance to your Pendragon. You know, where they have some memory attached to them. You know, and you come up with that, obviously.
I kind of want to take an egg. I know I didn't roll for this one, but I kind of want to take an egg.
Do it. Just
Definitely
have an egg hanging out. Why not?
So the unique thing about the items is that when you've picked them, they're all infused, which means they're virtually indestructible. So you can even have like an energy bar, and it would never rot or go off or get damaged. Because the knockers, which one of the friends, they infuse things. Back 2 is an infuser, and once those items are picked, they are indestructible.
I rolled a double 2s, which is dice.
Yay!
Which is delightful.
Nice.
I already rolled one.
Keep going.
Okay.
Just tell the viewers what you've got.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna maybe like a small little hand shovel, I think, for my last one.
Yeah. That makes sense, yeah. A trowel, you mean? Like
trowel,
a hand trowel?
Yes.
Yeah, trowel.
I rolled a journal to go with my pencil.
Perfect. Serendipitous.
So I have headphones, pencil, dice, hoodie, and journal.
You're writing down your beatbox tunes.
Beatbox. What do you write
I'm not
down?
sure how that works.
Joe, you write down beatboxing.
I have sun
not sure that would
hats, gardener's gloves, harmonica, egg, and a trowel.
I love that you
Nice.
just were
Nice.
carrying an egg around with you.
Just an
That's
egg.
perfect.
It's like a nice egg in this trying time.
Exactly. Well, it would go with your friend. You're the glow.
Mhm.
They're essentially birds. The next thing I need to talk to you before we get into the game testing is about shaping, which is essentially at the heart of the whole game. Now, mechanically, beyond the sign language elements, which we'll start having a go at in a minute, when you start playing the game, is there's a system, and now the shapes which are gifted to you by the Inspired. So one of your patron basically gave you that elemental shape, and they all interact in different ways, like the elements do in real life. So what we have is aggressive shapes and defensive shapes. Now, as I've said before, air and fire are aggressive shapes, and that might impact your personality or the way you interact with people when you're using them. So you might be a little bit more standoffish or kind of aggressive, or domineering. If you use water and earth shapes, that would be reflected in a more passive way, defensive, reasonable, level-headed, grounded, so to speak, with earth. And they interact, obviously. So fire would dominate earth, earth dominates air, air dominates water, and water dominates fire. Now, how that works in the game is to do with re-rolls. Now, if you are a fire or air shaper, which you both are, then when you're in a disbelief battle, you get to re-roll your opponent's dice.
Ooh.
Right. If you're a defensive shaper, as you can probably guess, you get to re-roll your own dice. Now, if you're the dominant element in an exchange, in a contested test, you nullify your opponent's re-roll mechanic. So if you're fire against an earth opponent, they do not get a re-roll. They do not get to re-roll their own dice. It gives you a huge advantage. And that's as simple as that. That's at the heart of the game. As you go up levels, you get to re-roll more and more dice. So the game uses 3d6 at its heart, and you roll them every time. But if you're the highest level of shaper, you can re-roll 3 of their dice.
Ooh.
So it can be pretty devastating. There's always a chance they can win, like 50-50 at the beginning. It seems that even though someone's got a disadvantage, they still roll well. And it doesn't really matter if you they re-roll a 2 or something. But it does give you a distinct advantage. And also, as a Pendragon, you win ties, and that is actually quite a big deal. So if you get the same number against an opponent, you win the round. Yep. So it's 3d6, and you have to roll 11 or more to pass a test, any type of test, so a belief barrier. If you roll a 17 or 18, you crit essentially, and you earn a belief token automatically, and you automatically win the test, succeed basically. The adverse is the same. So if you roll a 2 or 3, then you earn a disbelief token. I won't go into how disbelief works, but essentially it's I have a table myself, and it's a calamity table. If you as a group earn enough, then it will set off a calamity, which will create all sorts of interesting kind of story events. Now let's get into the actual game. Okay, so let me go to training. So if you imagine you've had a really, really restful evening in your sanctuary. So you can imagine like in either your tree house or your garden. And you slept so well and you feel very refreshed that you're quite hungry. So you come downstairs and Scriv and Cecily have prepared like a huge breakfast platter. There's like pancakes, maple syrup, like waffles, cereals, orange juice, everything you can imagine, bagels. And you're helping yourself to that. And then you see Sita again. And this is the worm that's going to teach you apparently the ways of shaping. And they're kind of sat in the living room near the open fire, blasting little gusts of air into the fire and moving the flames about. They seem very impatient. And they seem to grow in impatience as you help yourself to a breakfast platter. Scriv says, so I think it's about time, if you finish your mouthful, that we you head outside with Sita and you're going to go down to the lakeside and practice your shaping, which is what you'll use your elements, or how you use your elements. Now, we can't very well send you off on a questing day without learning at least the basics. So, Sita, I think they're ready. Trinity, are you ready? You're still eating.
I'm ready.
And Erin, I've seen you sneak that waffle into your pocket.
Mm.
You know, not all items are indestructible here.
I can't eat the eggs, so it feels weird just doing so.
Right, Sita steps up, and it's quite a huge dragon with quite small wings, but they're wearing kind of like these gloves with like studs in the back. They look quite intimidating. Right then, Pendragons, follow me outside to the lakeside. And on the way out the door to the questing cabin, they pick up like a fishing rod on the side. It's dwarfed by their huge, like clawed hand. And they walk down to the lakeside. It's beautiful. It's beautiful like a morning. The sun's just risen over the horizon. It's just a cascading across the landscape. You can already see the fish splashing about in the lake. And to your left is like a pen of ponies and this very strange contraption. It's like a huge wheel, or like a truck hubcap, and it's got a seat in the middle, and it's kind of leaning against the stables. Now then, enough of your good treatment from the bard and her assistant. We're getting serious now. I can't send you out there to earn belief, collect belief, fight disbelief, if you at least don't know the basics. Now, I can see that Trinity, you've got a fire in your belly. I can see it in your eyes already. And Erin, I can see by the way you walk, you're very attuned to the landscape already. Very sure-footed. Now, I need you to work together now. You can use the fishing rod if you wish, but I much prefer if you just use your elements to their full potential. Believe it or not, you'll remember all this. It's kind of latent within you. But your ancestors were experts, and every generation of Pendragon, it's in their blood. You're heroic deep down. You just have to remember how to use them. Now, your initial task, is to pluck one of the golden trout out of the lake. They're very rare. There may be only 2 or 3 in the whole thing. How will you get them out? I want you to use your elements. Now, this is the first test, and it's a group test. So you've got access to all 4 elements. So you've got to think of a way to get the golden trout, or to isolate the golden trout, and to get it out of the lake, and to the bankside. No, you can talk amongst yourself. Don't be afraid.
if you use water, I think water and earth might be a good combo for this. Why
That's
don't
exactly
we?
what I was thinking.
Why don't you use water to like herd the fish into a specific area, and I can use earth to like create a ring, spread up a ring around it.
That is literally exactly what I was thinking.
Nice. So attuned.
So
Now,
yeah, so I
to
will
let you,
sort of
yeah,
create a current.
to let you know though, the more elements you use in the test, the more bonuses you get to rolling. So you've got to try to use all 4 elements every
Okay.
test. This is the idea. It's creative thinking.
Oh, okay.
So how
I was also
would you isolate the golden trout from the other fish? That's the question.
so I was also thinking I could use fire to like evaporate enough water so that I could see the fish more clearly, like make it
Ooh,
shallower so that then I could see them.
that's cool. That's cool.
Oh gosh. How big is this lake? Is it really big?
It's
Like big
about
enough?
20 feet,
Okay. Hmm.
like, like circular. It's almost a perfect circle. I wish I could show you all the art in the book. It'd be so good to be able to get a visual representation, but it'd be so nice when you get the actual, when you get the PDF.
Okay. How can we use air? Let's see.
Maybe once I find the fish, you could use air to move the water.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's legitimately a good idea. In the game, if you come up with anything like even slightly related to tackling the thing, I would give you a bonus. This is a very, very like very, very forgiving type of system.
Okay.
So
I was thinking maybe using like air to create like a bubble around my head or something so I can go into the water and find the fish
whoa,
I
first.
love that.
please do that. No one's ever come up with that.
That's
It's amazing.
fantastic.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
Just make a little diving helmet for yourself.
Yeah, just make a little
That's
and go in
awesome.
there and find the fish. And
Yeah,
then
And then that'll direct you
and then you
where I.
bring up the earth ring. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the earth ring, yeah. And you can maybe use the water to like help push me around.
I love that.
I can't
Yes.
wait for this to happen.
That's
Hopefully
awesome.
it will happen. Right now, how a belief, this is wonderful. So how a belief barrier would work and how the system would work is that we will narratively do this. But we will roll dice. Now, one of you rolls the dice because you have to choose a leader out of the both of you for this test. Who do you think is the most appropriate person?
I would
Or it can just be
think,
how you feel.
yeah, I think maybe Moon because this is primarily a water task.
Yeah, so Trinity, you're going to be the
Yeah.
leader. So it means you do the dice
Yeah.
rolling. So
Alrighty.
I want you to roll a dice. So 3d6 and keep the numbers as they are when you roll them.
Got a 1, a 4, and a 5.
Right, so that's
It's
10.
10.
Right, now, the brilliant thing about it is that you've used all 4 elements. So you add 4. So 14, which is a pass. That's it. You've passed the test. You've passed the test. It's a level 1 test. You've passed it fine. So narratively, we have to go through it. But before you do the narrative, I want you as you do the narrative, I want you to shape each element you use.
Mhm.
So describe how it happens and do the sign language for the shape you're using. This is how the shaping starts. This is how we start to learn sign language. So we're using the alphabet now, viewers. This is
Okay.
and I will attempt to do each element. And I do not know any ASL. I'm a BSL
Did I
user.
do
So
that right? I don't know. Is this F?
it's like it's like crossed over, yeah. So on the fingers.
Like this. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
F I
Yes.
R
Yes.
E.
Yes.
Whew!
A. Oh, I'll do
Moonlight doesn't know
ASL.
any BSL.
A-I-R.
Yeah. So A
A.
I R. Is that right?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so brilliant. So now describe what happens.
So the first thing I'm going to do is Trinity stands at the edge of the water and they just sort of like take a second to focus and then just put their hands up and create just like a big like fire and just like have it like resting sort of on the top of the lake until some of the water evaporates.
Yeah. So it's sort of steaming away. Nice.
Yeah.
Like an inferno almost. Yeah. And the fish don't seem to be overly bothered, but they're kind of scattering around. And then what happens with Erin? Erin, do you go into the water then?
Yeah, she's gonna like.
The fire will disappear.
Yeah,
she will. Goes in the water.
So you've kind of lowered the level of water. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so she's going to like take a deep breath and like pretend like she's putting a helmet over her head and just sort of dip into the water and just the shield of air around her head as she dips in, and starts looking for the golden trout.
Nice.
And then see if I can do this. W.
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
T.
Yeah.
E. R.
Oh man, you're amazing. It's natural.
I will admit I studied this morning.
So we wave in Inspirisles. We don't clap, we wave. Obviously, deaf awareness. Clapping's no good to the deaf community.
So with the water, I will propel.
Yep. Perfect. You find the golden trout, you isolate it, and then the Erin, the earth. You try and do earth?
Yes, I'll do earth. So E
Nice.
A, oh my gosh, R T H.
Perfect. That's great. Yeah. And you bring up it's almost like a cylinder, not a cylinder, like a tube of earth from the bed of the lake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of surrounds the golden trout. And do you bring it in then to like isolate it?
Yeah, I think I'll bring it in and I'll bring it up to the surface.
Nice. Yeah. And it kind of raises above the surface. And then, did you move the thing towards the bank side then?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Push it.
Okay. And at the end of the day, Sita says, she just goes, drop it now. Let the fish go. All right, come out of the water. You're drenched. And as you come up
perfectly dry
onto the bankside, Sita just grabs this, just like moves her hands. I'll better do this actually. I can do a Sita's sign language. Oh no, sorry. Air. Okay, and she's like gathers this really like concentrated, almost like a whirlwind or like a tornado, and just between her hands, and she just sends it against you, and it's like rolls around you, and it's like you're buffeted everywhere, and as she pulls it away and it drops the sort of element, you're completely dry. Your hair's kind of like up in all directions. You are completely dry. Very good. Now we're going to have a little sparring session. Wouldn't normally do this when you're out in the field on your questing days. You'll face all sorts of opponents spreading disbelief. Some of them don't even realize they're doing it, but they have to be stopped, else the kingdom will crumble and the world tree will die. Now I'll have you practice on each other first. Stand facing each other on the bankside here. Now, Trinity, Erin. Trinity, I wish for you to use fire for this encounter. Erin, earth. Trinity, you have a distinct advantage in this battle, but do not take it for granted. Fate can have a different outcome often. Now, how this works, a disbelief battle, is that it's a contested roll, so you both roll 3d6. As I said before, I want you to sign your element when you use it, and I want you to tell me narratively how you're going to either affect your opponent. Remember, you can't destroy their items, but you can, you can scare them off, demoralize them, and even slightly injure them if it's against an unrelenting opponent. But your aim here is just to basically win over your companion. So how you're going to use fire and earth, and you should sign your element, and then we'll go for a roll. Obviously, Trinity, you will have to you can re-roll one of Erin's dice.
Right.
Okay, but that's after we've rolled, because you might not need to do it. Okay, so think of a way you're narratively going to do it first.
I am going to try and intimidate. So I'm going to have the fire basically like put my hands on fire.
Yeah.
And just sort of like growl and look intimidating.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Erin's going to take her trowel and she's going to dig up some dirt and pull up just a huge chunk and have it surround herself like some sort of armor.
Oh, nice.
And sort of have it sort of like, it's like sort of floating around her. Sort of like it's chunks of dirt and rock just sort of floating around her as sort
like
of
like a mantle going around you. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Perfect. Right. Let's do some signing and then who's rolling?
EARTH.
Nice.
And the vowels are the hardest thing in BSL for me because I always have to wait.
Yeah.
Which one is?
I do like that. I do like the system though. I think it's really nice.
FIR.
Nice. Yeah, perfect. Right, let's roll then. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
Come on, dice.
Speech is looking on with interest.
That is the exact same roll.
10.
On the exact same dice.
So it very much depends what Erin's got.
Okay. So you want the total or do you want individual dice?
Total? But keep the individual dice as they are.
Okay. That's going to be an 11 for me.
Which means you have to re-roll. You have to re-roll.
Right. Do I get to know what the individual dice
yes, you do.
numbers are?
Oh, yeah, 100%, yeah.
So 6, a 4, and a 1.
Re-roll that 6.
Come on, another 6. Oops, where'd it go? It was a 3. So 8.
Well done. Okay, narratively describe. Well, I'll do this actually. So Trinity basically conjures this flame all around their like wrists, arms, up into their fingertips, and there's like flames coming off their nails. And as they do so, it kind of they have such a good role, or they have such a good connection with their element that it kind of like starts to affect their like facial features, and it's like their eyebrows are kind of on fire, like the image of fire, and like even out of your teeth and your mouth, there's kind of like little flames and little smoke coming out. You look like a demon basically for a moment.
So cool.
And Erin, meantime, Erin conjures this mantle that's kind of flowing around her, and there's like vines, and there's kind of like roots from the bankside, and there's kind of like you've gathered some like so much mud and thickness. But the visage, Trinity's visage, is so alarming and terrifying that you can't maintain that kind of earth shape, and it just drops away, and it's kind of like slides back into the lake. And as Trinity laughs, it's kind of like this little belch of smoke coming out, like, and you drop it because you didn't want to freak out
Yes.
Erin too much. Well done, Trinity. Very good. That was actually quite terrifying.
Thank you.
I wouldn't use that in the local communities so often. Now we shall reverse the stakes. We shall have Erin as the aggressor and Trinity as the passive shaper. So it's going to be air versus water now.
So, as I just have a quick question.
Mhm.
As I'm shaping water, do I have the ability to turn it into ice? Or
We're going to be we're very, 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 very loose with the elements. So in other
Awesome.
words, an earth shaper can manipulate metal, for instance, if it's got like the elements in it that way, because it's conjured from within you, basically. Right. So it's kind of like and the elements were gifted from your. It's very hard to explain, but like the inspired are born from a giant's organs. So Kilner came from the heart, Aethlin from the bladder, Igraine from the body, and Aethlin. Sorry, I said Aethlin, and Vorm from the lungs. So you kind of, as a Pendragon, you kind of like you gather these energies from your body.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you can use anything. You can manipulate anywhere. So fire can manipulate light. It can create things. It can and you can use earth and fire together to make like earthenware jugs, all sorts of things like that. Conjure lightning, all sorts of things. Yeah, and like fire with heat as well. Like don't underestimate heat. So basically anything.
Okay, cool.
So the same again. This time, obviously, Erin, you have a slight advantage. So again, give me some narrative with air and water, and sign your element, and then let's have a little roll.
All right. With air, Erin is going to take her sun hat and sort of sweep it across like a fan, and just ripples of air will just blast out from her, hoping to knock Trinity over.
Nice. Like a martial arts move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Trinity is going to take basically like a big bubble of water and lift it up over Erin's head and let it fall, but as it falls, turn it into ice.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh wow. Okay. Awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, nice one. Okay, let's have a roll then. Let's do the shapes of the art. Let's do the shapes first.
All right.
Okay.
So air and water again. Nice. Nice. Right.
Over, I'm going to give it D6, so I hopefully don't roll another 10.
Yeah. Although you did win the last one.
That was much worse. I should have kept those dice.
Yes. Okay. I rolled an 8.
I rolled a 7.
Yes.
So you automatically win, Erin, because you're the only one who can re-roll.
Yay. You win.
Yeah. So I'll let you describe what happens this time.
Okay. So she will send a blast, and like as she's performing, as she's about to like release this blast of air, she notices the giant block of ice hurtling towards her. She's gonna spin around and like as soon as like the ice block's about to hit her, she's gonna like smack it with her sun hat and bring the force of air just with it and send
Nice.
their own ice block right towards Trinity. Just
Ah!
whack.
As the ice block goes towards Trinity, they've still got some latent flames of fire within their body, and it kind of like as it comes towards you, it kind of almost like starts to melt, and it's like, but it does soak you again.
Right.
Excellent. Sita's like, it kind of went with prediction tonight, or this morning rather. I'm actually very impressed. You have a very strong grasp of shaping already. And next time we meet, I shall prepare you for your first questing day. But for now, this is all I can teach you until you've been out there on the islands collecting belief. One last thing. Give me your names, or shape me your names.
Oh boy.
This isn't in the game. I thought we could do that. I thought we could do that.
TRIN.
Yeah.
ITY.
Yes, that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
That took so much thought to not do ASL.
ERI. Yes.
Nice. Moonlight. Let's see Trinity in ASL. So awesome.
It's been a long time since I've done that.
That's our session over. I think we should have another session after the release date of your first question day. Are you both up for that?
I would love that.
That would be great.
Yeah. So, friends in high places. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it as an actual quest.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. Yeah, we could totally do
Yeah.
that. Same time next week.
We'll
talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll arrange it.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100% soon. Within the month. Let's put it
within the month at least.
June. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That is so much fun.
Thank
you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It was such a great. Thank you for being the first creator to come on our show as well, because we've been doing this for a little while, but you're our first one of the first creators.
Oh, that's
to
an
have on
honor.
our show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And it's just so wonderful to have you. And it's such a great game, and I'm super excited for it to come out. I'm super excited to learn more. I know I'm feeling awkward like trying to do all my ASLs, but like
it feels very awkward for a while.
Yeah.
So
that's the idea. It's just a very robust introduction to the language and a little bit of deaf culture and awareness in there. And I just think one of the things that's going to be so much fun is examples like you said, going under the water with the bubble around your head. I think it's moments like that, especially with young players, especially with teenagers. It'll be so wonderfully inventive and like organic.
Yeah.
We played with the 11-year-old on Monday, my friend's daughter, and it was so amazing. Their ability to take control of the tests and their willingness to learn sign language. It was really heartwarming.
Yeah.
So
that's so sweet.
So it can be played with anyone. I played with my 6-year-old daughter, and they picked up really easily. I mean, I admit most of the tests were like, I feed the animal this or I feed the creature this to get it away.
Right.
There's always food involved for some reason.
Yeah.
But like it's still legitimate because at the end of the day they're rolling 3d6 and it's quite easy to work out the numbers.
Right.
It's very accessible.
Yeah, it's super accessible, super like not easy, but like accessible is the word, really.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like it's
yeah,
easy to pick up,
Yeah.
and there's so much you can do with it.
yeah.
It's a ton of fun. I'm just gonna keep saying that it's a
Thank
ton of
you.
fun.
No
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone at
problem.
home for watching and tuning in.
Yeah,
This
thank
will
you so much.
be up shortly on YouTube, as well our other things. Coming up soon, we have on Monday we have a complete contrast to this fun, lighthearted game is
Very
a spooky horror.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, spooky horror game where we play the Trophy Dark system. A fun,
Oh, right.
horrible, like horrible in like the greatest sense system,
Hmm.
where we get to explore a garden of blue roses, which is going to be a ton of fun. And then on Tuesday
Oh,
we have our Star Trek Adventures campaign continuing with more
more
wacky
Q
adventures.
ridiculousness.
So it's going to be a ton of fun. Hope to see you there. Thank you again, Rich, for joining us.
no, it was my
We will.
pleasure. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yes. All right. Thank you
Um,
so much to everyone.
Right.
We'll see you next time. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay queer. Bye bye.
Bye.
bye. Bye.